Hey guys, it's Mike from Mike's Rock and Relics, and today on the show we're going to take a walk through my record collection with artists that begin with the letter B or whose last names, if they're a solo artist, start with the letter B. So I had a great response to doing this with the letter A in my collection, so I thought why not just keep it on going. I'll do one of these every couple of weeks or something, but here we go. This is the artists in my collection that began with the letter B. Stay tuned. Okay, so here is part one of the albums that are kind of in my collection that I don't listen to all that often, and I keep them sort of in a separate area of my collection. But these are the letter B bands. I've got the Butterfield Blues Band, this Buffalo Springfield record. I don't listen to a ton, but certainly still want to own it. Jackson Browne, first Jackson Browne record. Brave Belt, if you don't know Brave Belt, they became Bachman Turner Overdrive, but this was before Fred Turner joined the band. Box Tops, if you know the song The Letter, that's the Box Tops. This period of David Bowie is not my favorite of his, although it is for many people. I'm just too much of a guitar guy, but Scary Monsters, Lodger, Low, Station to Station. And actually, I do like Diamond Dogs. I just tend to listen to his earlier stuff more than that one, but that's in there. This is a live Blue Oyster Cult record. This is the Blues Magoo's Electric Comic Book, and that is fully complete with the psychedelic comic book. That's actually backwards. There it is right there. And that was part of that record. Blood Rock. I don't know if you know Blood Rock, but this is from 71. Cool electric band. This is Black Sabbath. This had Ian Gillan from Deep Purple. Not Sabbath's strongest outing, and a lot of people don't like this record, but you know what? It's not bad. I don't mind it. Technical Ecstasy, probably the maybe one of the worst Sabbath albums, if there is such a thing, but it's kind of okay, that one. This one is just because I have an original UK pressing. This is in the sort of secondary library, but this is on the NEMS label up there. And NEMS was Brian Epstein's department store in the 60s, but this is a Dutch pressing. Another record in here. This is the Byrds, but it's not the Byrds, sort of, Roger McGuinn and David Crosby. This is Ron Wood, who became a Rolling Stone, and this is pre-Faces, pre-Jeff Beck group, when he was in this band called the Byrds, with an I. This is a Canadian artist named Michael Bainan, and he's sort of a folk musician and pretty well known in a lot of parts of Canada. But Michael Bainan, a couple of his. This one is a personal favorite of mine because the guitarist right there is my buddy Marty Hepburn, who I'm in his band, Marty and the Mojos. So there you go. That's a big one for me. This is the Bee Gees' first record, back when they were actually sort of a folk rock band. Great early stuff that they had prior to the disco era. I collect Vertigo Swirl stuff. This is Beggar's Opera, and it's not my favorite Beggar's Opera album, but that one is in my sort of B collection. This is Jeff Beck. Pretty good. Jeff Beck again. Any Jeff Beck record is a good one. And these are some of the ones that I have that I don't listen to all the time. There's Rough and Ready and the Jeff Beck group. Beach Boys in Concert from the early 70s. That's a good live album. Bad Company's Desolation Angel. And another Bad Company, Run with the Pack. Syd Barrett. This is not my favorite Syd Barrett record, but I own that one. And Babe Ruth, First Base. Okay, this is getting into more of the stuff I listen to more regularly. We're going to start from the band and work back towards the top of the alphabet, I guess. But this is some of the records I own by the band. This one is autographed. Leave-on is very faint there. Signed in the 70s for a friend of mine, but it is missing Robbie on that one, who was not getting along with the guys very well at that time. But that one is signed. Okay. Northern Lights, Southern Cross. The live album, Rock of Ages. And the great cover album they did. Cahoots. Stage Fright. Band. And music from Big Pink. So that is that stuff. This is Ginger Baker's Air Force. This is a great album if you ever see this one. Fantastic record. Steve Winwood's on here and a bunch of other guys. It's pretty good. Long John Baldry, I've done an episode kind of featuring this record before on the channel. This is a phenomenal record if you see it. Go pick that one up. You can find it very cheap. Badfinger. Great band on the Apple label. This is some Badfinger records. There we go. The two Bad Company records I listen to the most. This one and, of course, the classic debut. And Bachman Turner Overdrive. The first three records from them. And this is Baby Huey, an R&B guy that is really interesting if you've never heard this record. It's pretty good. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you're a big fan of rock and roll and you like records, guitars, and stories about rock and roll, be sure to give us a like and subscribe and ring that bell. It helps us to grow the channel and keep more stuff coming. Thanks a lot. Up next, Jeff Beck at Ronnie Scott's. I love Jeff Beck's stuff. Jan Hammer there. Wired. And the classic Blow by Blow. This one is signed by Carmen. Beck Bogert, a piece. Jeff Beck. This is San Francisco at the Fillmore 1968. This is a great record that came out for, I think, a record store day. I'm not sure. It's a newer release. Beck Ola. Truth, the classic. It's a Beautiful Day, a San Francisco band from that era. Bo Bremmels. Beacon Street Union. Cloud Died in Marvin Gardens. This is pretty far out stuff, man. Check out Beacon Street Union. A very underrated Beach Boys record. Surf's Up. Excellent stuff there. Friends. This period of Beach Boys stuff, Wild Honey, is really, really kind of underappreciated. Smiley Smile. There's the classic Pet Sounds. This one is on duophonic stereo. And the stuff before that, Endless Summer, is kind of a compilation. I do have a few. This is signed by Mike Love. And before that, we have Syd Barrett. Okay, this is the latest Black Crowes record. If you haven't heard that one, it is a dandy. This is Lions. Morica. Three Snakes and One Charm. Southern Harmony and Musical Companion, and the first one, it's actually a first pressing as well. Black Cat Bones, Barbed Wire Sandwich. If you like heavy 70s rock and roll, there it is. It's really good. Elvin Bishop, once he left the Butterfield Blues Band and went solo. Big Sugar, Hemi Vision, and this is a Canadian band that, if you don't know this record, check this out for sure. It's a great one, and this is their first one, and this is actually autographed as well. Very cool. Big Star, this is Radio City, and their first one. Great stuff there. Big Brother and the Holding Company, and the classic Cheap Thrills. Dickie Betts. The Allman Brothers. Chuck Berry's Greatest Hits. Berry is on top. 1 Dozen Berries. And before that one, we have the other Beggar's Opera record I have on Vertigo. And this is the one that folds out into a gigantic poster. Very cool. And Best of the Bee Gees. And as I said before, get the stuff before they were a disco band, and that's pretty good. There we go. Tommy Bolin. This is one of the most underrated guitar players you'll ever hear. And that's his best album right there. Teaser. Fantastic stuff. Blue Rodeo Outskirts, signed by Greg Keeler. Psychedelic Lollipop by the Blues Magoos. We Ain't Got Nothing Yet is the big single off of that one. Okay, now we got a little run of Blue Oyster Cult, one of the coolest bands that ever graced the stage. Blue Oyster Cult. How cool is that? And that one. This is Blue Cheer, one of the heaviest bands of the late 60s. One of the bands that helped pioneer heavy metal. There's 3 of them here, actually. Blue Cheer, new and improved. And the Vince Bus Eruptum. Blood, Sweat, and Tears. As you can see, I'm a bit all over the map. Blood, Sweat, and Tears prior to David Clayton Thomas. So this isn't your spinning wheel album. This is the stuff that was really kind of pretty important. Al Cooper, right in the middle there, the guy that kind of put all that together. This is a great record. Bloodwind Pig, Mick Abrams from from Jethro Tull. Great record. We have the very distasteful cover from Blind Faith. Black Sabbath, The Mob Rules, Heaven and Hell, Never Say Die, Sabotage, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, Sabbath Volume 4, a cardboard box. No, this is the Vertigo swirl label original first pressing of Masters of Reality, but the box is so thick I couldn't put a sleeve around it. So that is what that is. Black Sabbath Paranoid original first pressing on Vertigo, and Black Sabbath on Vertigo. That's the original first pressing as well on the Vertigo label. And what I mean by that is this swirl label, which I like to collect. So those are all first pressing Black Sabbaths. Black Oak Arkansas's live album Raunch and Roll, which is just a lot of fun. Okay, up next, James Brown, live at the Apollo, and this album so important for a lot of white audiences who had never been to a show in Harlem to hear what the James Brown and the Famous Flames band sounded like. Pretty cool. And now we have the crazy world of Arthur Brown. I Give You Fire. Here's some Bowie records that I do listen to. Let's Dance, Heroes, Young Americans, Aladdin Sane, Ziggy Stardust, Hunky Dory, The Man Who Sold the World, Space Oddity. Boston, that's the second Boston record. This is a promo copy. Okay, the first Boston record, I have 2. This is the picture disc plus the original record. Gary U.S. Bonds, 2:45. Booker T and the MG's Green Onions. Bon Jovi, there's 3 Bon Jovi records I do like. Keep the Faith, New Jersey. This is Tico Torres, the drummer who signed that. I met him one time. And Slippery When Wet. Of course, that one has to be in there. Okay, and rounding out the letter B, we have the Byrds. Easy Rider. There's a great record right there from the movie soundtrack to Easy Rider. Sweetheart of the Rodeo, the classic country rock record. Notorious Bird Brothers. Younger Than Yesterday. Fifth Dimension. Turn, Turn, Turn. Mr. Tambourine Man. Butterfield Blues Band. This record is good, and this record is great. And this was a phenomenal record. Of course, Mike Bloomfield and Elvin Bishop on guitars. Really good stuff. This is one of my more modern records. Bush, 16 Stone. And the Canadian Bush with Dominic Triano. Kind of a cool record from 1970. Buffalo Springfield again. And Buffalo Springfield featuring For What It's Worth. Budgie. One of the most underrated bands of the 70s. Budgie, is a classic. If you've never listened to them, check them out. Tim Buckley, Buckingham Nicks. Of course, that's what formed the 70s or mid-70s version of Fleetwood Mac. Roy Buchanan, if you're a guitar fan, check out that record. That's mind-blowing stuff on the Telecaster. This is Jack Bruce after he was out of Cream and did his solo thing. Things We Like and Songs for a Tailor. Kind of jazzy. Brownsville Station, if you know Motley Crue's Smoking in the Boys' Room, this is the original Brownsville Station. Jackson Browne, Running on Empty. And Jackson Browne, The Pretender. This is autographed by him, Massey Hall. And there it is. Well, if you're sitting at home and saying, geez, Mike, letter B, and you've missed the Beatles, it's nope, just saving them for the end. This is a UK pressing called A Collection of Beatle Oldies. That came out a long time ago. There is the blue and the red greatest hits record. This is some sort of bootleg out of Germany. Beatles Sessions. It's interesting. A little different. Beatle Rarities. This had some different takes as well as mixes and things like that. Hey Jude. This was a compilation that came out after the band split. And here we go with the actual studio records. So Abbey Road. This is the Let It Be box set that came out in Canada and was a booklet, the record, and this box that it was housed in. That's just the record. This is a numbered Japanese white album. This is a numbered US white album. And this is the Canadian white album. All of these have all of the inserts as well. Here is a Canadian Yellow Submarine, and here is a 1970s UK Yellow Submarine. This is Magical Mystery Tour. There's a bunch of Sgt. Pepper's here. This is a 1970 Parlophone. This is a bootleg of outtakes from Sgt. Pepper that came out in 1988. And this is a Canadian first pressing. And this is the late 70s marble vinyl, Sgt. Pepper. And this is a UK Parlophone first pressing. Okay, this one. We have to kind of look up on the wall because this is just the record and the inner sleeve. But up here, you will see it is the famous Butcher album. And I've just got that framed on the wall. This is a Third State peeled edition. And there is the regular Yesterday and Today. And that is I think that's the UK. Yeah, that's a UK first revolver. And this is a Canadian first revolver. That is the UK first Rubber Soul and the Canadian first Rubber Soul. And you might be like, well, why do you need both? Well, they all had different track listings, which is pretty interesting. This is a bootleg, Paris Olympia. It says 1964. It's not. I'm pretty confident it's 65, that one. Hollywood Bowl. The UK first edition Help. And the Canadian Help record. Beatles 6. Of course, Beatles 6 and Beatles 65 was songs from Rubber Soul and Beatles for Sale. This is a German pressing of Beatles for Sale. And there is the UK pressing of Beatles for Sale. There's a UK Hard Day's Night and a Canadian Hard Day's Night. Something New. Twist and Shout. This is a Canadian release only. Beatles' second album, that's the American pressing of that one. We called it Long Tall Sally in Canada. And then the first record, this is the 70s reissue. No, what am I talking about? This is, yeah, no, that is the 70s reissue on that one. This is the Parlophone UK second pressing from 63. That's a first US pressing. And this is the Canadian pressing of that record. Got a couple of those. And Please Please Me, Beatles at the BBC. There is the VJ group introducing the Beatles. This is a Canadian only called Very Together. I haven't put a new sleeve on that. Still got the price on it. It's kind of an oddball Canadian record from '69. Silver Beatles. This is a Bulgarian issue of early Beatles stuff. And First Live Recordings, Volume 1. Hamburg Star Club, and First Live Recordings, Volume 2. Or, sorry, that was Volume 1, and the other one was Volume 2. But that is all stuff from Germany as well. In the blues records, I only have a couple that start with the letter B. I've got Blues Brothers, and this one is Big Bill Brunsey. So there is a brief look at the artists that go under the letter B in my record collection. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if there's anybody I don't have that you think I'd enjoy seeing what I do listen to, and leave that in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Keep on collecting, and we'll see you next time.